Hey everybody, I'm Alex. Welcome to My Midlife Crisis. If you've been following this channel, you know that I recently purchased a couple of locomotives off of eBay. One of them was really good and one of them was less than good. I do think it's salvageable, and I have hope that it will actually run well. Basically what I'll need to do is take it apart, service it. But before I do that, I'm gonna practice. This is a locomotive that I recently bought off of eBay. It is a rebranded Kato, rebranded to be an Atlas and imported, as near as I can tell, sometime in the early 90s. I would like to take it apart, see if I can figure out why it is running so poorly, and then put it back together. But since I am not used to doing this kind of thing, I started practicing on an old locomotive. I honestly do not know who the manufacturer of this is. If you are familiar with this style of chassis, I would love to hear about it in the comments down below. What you know about the manufacturer, where it came from, so on and so forth. I recently learned that if you have the 6 wheels on the trucks, that it is a SD, and if you have the 4 wheels on the trucks, it is a GP model. So when I start taking stuff apart, I like to keep everything in a little, I have a bunch of these containers. These held electrical tape at one point, and I like to keep those and put the parts in there so that I can make sure that I don't lose them. My cat approves. Ooh. Alright, so one of the things, I have been watching some videos on how to disassemble and clean in-scale locomotives, and this does not conform with any of those videos. So I'm guessing this is much older. I would like to thank these people for putting out good information, and suggest that you watch some of their videos if you're curious about this. However, none of them have a video about this guy. So one of the things that I can see here, and I don't know if this is going to show up on camera, but there is some crap in the trucks. So part of the problem might just be that everything is dirty. This is where the worm gear is. I'm going to pop this off and see if there's anything in there that I need to clean. Whew. Oh, that's scary. So there's a pin. I don't know if it only comes out one way. It looks like it only comes out one way. Whoo, doggy. All right, so that's gonna allow me to pull. Is it going to allow me to pull this? When I was younger and I was first starting off in the industrial maintenance community, I had a machine that was down in the middle of the night, and I called up tech support. And the tech support guy asked me to do something which I had been told specifically, don't ever do that. And I told him, I said, hey, I have been told that I shouldn't do that, that it's going to be a problem, that it will lead to more issues. And he said, is your machine working now? And I said, no. And then he said, what have you got to lose? This is actually working now. but it's not working very well. Feels like there's a spring in here. Are the wires holding me? I think the wires are holding me. I think these wires in here are keeping me. Did I just break that off? I did not, okay. I think these wires right here are preventing me from pulling this truck out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull these wires. Yep, those wires are there. All right, like this is, so this is held in place by that pin, so that's not a bad thing. So this is interesting because the modern locomotives that I've seen use spring-loaded copper strips to pass the power, and the pickups for those, the interface between those strips and the wheels is generally on the outside of the wheel. On this one, the pickup is actually a metal piece on the inside of the wheel. So I think what I am going to do here is I'm basically just going to get some electrical contact cleaner, which is compatible with plastics, and I am going to spray this out and see if I can't just use the aerosol of that and the chemical component of that to get rid of the gunk and the extra stuff that I see in here, because these are moving quite well. There's no binding here, but there is a bunch of gunk. So I'm going to pull everything apart. I'm going to spray this out with some electrical contact cleaner and put everything back together, and then we'll see if it works more betterer. So I got a piece of cardboard here, which might make it easier for you guys to see what's going on. Also to protect the surface of this 100-year-old desk that I'm using for my modeling. This is Ozine 2. Use this in electronics all the time to clean circuit boards and to clean contacts for relays. I'm not worried about it being dangerous to any of the components here. I am actually going to take apart this other side. But I'm only going to do one side at a time. Okay, so this is interesting. I don't know if you can see this. While this claims to have 6-wheel drive, it is actually only 4-wheel drive. This is just a pair of idler wheels. It does look like it has a contact that goes to those wheels. I think this is important. If you look at, are you going to focus on this? Okay, here we go. So as you can see, this is a double gear, and one side has teeth and the other side does not. I'm going to say it's very important. The orientation of this is very important, because if you put it in the wrong way, then it won't actually drive your wheels. Yeah, you can see inside there the gear is on one side, so I have to make sure that the geared side of this matches up with the geared side of that. And then we poke through and install our pin.
2,000 years later.
There we go. Ta-da! So why would we go one way but not the other? There we go. Come on. Check and make sure that when I do this, it's spinning those gears. Gently pull these wires back through. Alright, so I feel like much of the problem, I don't have a good circuit between the wheels and the motor. And that is borne out here when so you can, I should these three wheels are not connected to anything. I mean, they are mechanically, they are not connected electrically. So where is that disconnect? Well, there we go. That's bad. I guess the next step is I need to replace this wire because this wire is too short to do what I want. But I will replace that wire and then we'll come back and see how it goes. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to remove these two wires without removing either of those two wires. I'm going to put a slight amount of pressure on here. Ah, that's interesting. Okay, so it's one wire. I'm trying to do this so you guys can see it. One of the tricks to soldering something small is to be in a position where you are comfortable. I'm getting ready to solder something fiddly, which I would consider this to be rather fiddly. I'll spend a few extra minutes setting it up so that I feel like I can just do it.
20 minutes later.
hope you could see that when I did it. My battery died somewhere in there, and I'm not sure exactly where. So, I don't know how much of that you saw, but I'm going to say it was brilliant. Wow, you missed some genius stuff there. I'm sorry that I didn't get it on camera. Oh well. All right, so I've got everything. I've got everything moving the way it's supposed to move, at least as far as I can tell, and connected the way it's supposed to be connected, again, at least as far as I can tell. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to check some continuity again. I'm going to check. So let's see, I'm going to put this where you can see this screen here. So what I'm looking for is, on one side I'm looking for like almost no resistance, and on the other side I'm looking for a very small amount of resistance through the motor. So I'm going to start on this side, and from here to here there should be zero resistance basically. Come on. So yeah, 1 ohm. And from here to here it should be about the same. And then on this side it should be about 10 ohms. 11. I don't know if you can see that or not. Here, I'm going to hold it there. I'm going to get my 12 volts. Okay, so that's working like crazy. That's working pretty good. That's working pretty good. We'll try the other side. Alright, still making a lot of noise, but it seems to be at least a little bit better. Let's go see what it looks like on the track. Believe it or not, that's actually an improvement. It is not running well, but it is certainly running better, and I'm very happy with that. At the very least, it shows me that I can take one of these things apart, fiddle around with it, and put it back together and not make anything worse. I feel like now I can dig into that Atlas and try to get that to run a little bit better. I hope that you at least either learned how to do something or learned how to not do something. Either one of those is a valid takeaway from this. And I'll see you next time. I guess the only thing left is to say something clever for the outro.
Day 2. Day 3. Day 4.